Yo, what's good, people, man? Alivini Linguine, story time. Slapping an opponent after a game and breaking a special kid's ankles. Let's get it, bro.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Alivini Linguine here, today with a new type of video. So, in one of my latest videos, I mentioned how I slapped a kid in the 8th grade after a basketball game. And y'all wanted to hear the story about that. Of course, I wasn't going to individually explain it to every comment that asked about it, or every person in my who DM'd me asking about it. So, I decided to start a new series. This series was inspired by Vic Bucks. I'm sure none of y'all ever heard of him. He used to make these basketball slash just these IRL videos, not IRL videos, just IRL storytime videos where he talks about stuff that happened in his life, not specifically basketball. But in this case, I'm gonna turn it into my basketball thing. So yeah, shout out to him. Now, like I said, yes, I slapped a kid after a game in the 8th grade.
Okay.
How did that start? And I want to tell y'all now, I'm going to explain like every context into everything that happened because that's just the type of storyteller that I am. And I'm sorry that there is
Good
no
D,
face cam
bruh.
for this
Look at
video
that white boy.
because I don't know why nothing on my
Hey,
computer doesn't work
what?
at the moment, but that will be fixed in the near future. So, let's go on and start, shall we? 8th grade me was definitely on another league compared to what I am now. I would get pissed off so easily playing basketball, and that is definitely not an understatement. So, slapping the kid. Let's just go on and start from the beginning. So, going into this game, we were losing. We lost maybe, I think 4, maybe 5 straight games, I'd like to say. And we go into
Yo, a losing streak is tough, bro. I should know, bro. I played on my high school team. A losing streak sucks. It sucks ass.
this game, I'm already pissed off that we're losing so many times and so frustrated. So, having this kid talk shit to me was definitely not the way to go that game. So, if I can remember what happened, if I can remember what specifically happened, all I remember is I got the ball in the post and I tried to post the guy up. And the guy whom I was posting up was my matchup the whole entire game, so I heard a lot from him. But anyway, I was posting him up and the ball hit my foot. Ball hits my foot, goes out of bounds. Now, just a simple turnover. Of course, I was upset with myself that I'm so unfucking coordinated that the ball decided to hit my foot and go out of bounds. But hey, things happen. So I decided to go on my way. Now, the only thing is, I hear the kid said, hey, now, I was a dumbass back then, still am. Not gonna say I'm not. So I look at him, give him the attention that he wanted, and he says to me, if you're going to kick the ball like that, you rather as well be playing soccer. Now, I do not know what got into me, but him saying that just flicked the switch because I wanted to kill him right then and there. I don't know. Like I said, I'm really into basketball.
Too emotional, man. Listen, you gotta be cool, calm, and composed. Can't be showing them that you're gonna break easy off that one simple ass comment. It's that simple.
So saying stuff like that, or at least to me back then, was definitely a death sentence. But of course, I wasn't going to fight him on the court. No, that I probably would have been kicked off right then and there. So I just said, you know what? Fuck you. I didn't actually say that. This was 8th grade me. I didn't really even know that many curse words back then. But I was just like, okay, just get mad. Just stomp off somewhere. Keep playing the game. We end up losing, and of course I'm pissed. I'm still pissed, but I have enough self-control not to do anything. So we just do our good game thing. I'm, of course, loafing, so I'm back in the back of the line doing the good game thing. I don't even know what the good game thing is, right? So we're going good game. And I see the kid back there with a smirk on his face. This nigga, okay. This nigga had a smirk on his face. And, of course, I wasn't really looking at him. I was still kind of into myself that we
How many
lost
turnovers is the
first
blue team
place.
gonna have?
So we're like, good game. And then I see him smirk on his face. And then he says the words, he whispers it, but at the same time, it was enough for me to hear it. He says, soccer. From then, I snapped. I just said, smack that nigga right in the face. Full palm, and then people that know me in real life know I got huge hands. Huge, just palmed his face, smacked him right there, gave him a whole mark and everything. The nigga went down and started crying. Now, this is where things get a little bit blurry because I was like having a mental breakdown at that point because I was like, oh shit, I just slapped a kid, I'm about to get kicked off. Because I was like, oh no.
Now you regretted it, huh? You gotta make sure you keep your emotions in check. You can't let people get to your head that easy. Matter of fact, you can't let people get to your mental faculties at all. Because they're gonna try to exploit you. For just cause.
My coach drags me to the side because he hears the impact and sees what happens and then sees that I literally slapped the kid. The kid's parents come down, rushing down from the stands to see if he's all good. You know what? Let me say this. Thinking back on it, I went to a really black school and I'm surprised like none of the niggas got mad enough to fight. Because that shit happened at my other school where the team was like, what, 80% white, 20% black, if even that. So having a team that only had like 2 white guys on the team, I'm surprised none of them even jumped it. But you know what? They were probably better than me anyway. So, you know what? Let me keep going. So anyway, coach pulls me aside. She starts going off at me. I start crying. I start crying super hard. What else happens? Yeah, the kid's parents are just like, you know, caressing the kid. They're like yelling at the coach, yelling at me. You know, I'm still bawling my eyes out. Coach just keeps going off at me. He could tell that I not gonna say didn't mean to. I fucking didn't mean to. But he could tell that I was sorry about it. So he kind of let me off a little bit. And then he simply told me, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Because he was a teacher. And sometimes he was my bus driver. That was definitely some awkward days when he became my bus driver. But anyway. Anyway, I'm just thinking about this situation. Just makes me laugh every once in a while. Anyway, so we get into the car. And then something I want to mention now. My parents weren't even at the game. My parents, I forgot what they were doing that day, but they weren't at the game. And then there's something that always happens. Whenever my parents do not show up to a game, there's always something interesting that happens. This interesting thing ended up me slapping the fuck out of a white kid. Now, we get into my friend's car, my friend Brandon, and we start driving off, talking about the game, you know, talk about what went wrong. And then we talk about the situation, you know, I'm still, like, bawling my eyes out because of it. And then she simply asked me this question. Am I going to tell your parents? Or are you going to tell your parents? And of course, I'm like, shit. And then I jokingly say, because y'all know I just like to make jokes, can it be neither? And then it was like, if you're not telling your parents, I'm telling your parents. And I'm like, what, man? So I'm like, okay, fine. I guess I'll tell my parents. Because I don't know how her vocabulary was. I wasn't going to let her say anything that didn't happen or her over-exaggerating. Because the more someone would over-exaggerate to my parents, the worse the ass beating is going to be. So I was just like, okay, fine, I'll tell my parents, you know, just take the beating and run. So I told my parents, they get pissed, beat the fuck out of me. I go to school the next day.
I mean, hey, you shouldn't slap that kid, bruh. You probably learned back then you suffer the consequences of your actions.
And if there's something, I guess, I don't know, it's probably unnecessary information to tell, but I was in the IEP program because I got in so many fights back in the day. So my IEP advisor came into the room when I had her class, busted in the door, was like, yo, Alvin, what did you do? And I'm just like, after that next day, I was just over it. I told her straight up what happened. And let me tell you what these fucking, like, okay, I know this might sound a little bit racist, but come on now. Let me tell you what these white ass niggas decided to do. These niggas decided to come into my school the next day after the game, go to my principal, tell him what happened, and try to get me expelled from the school / sent to whatever the, you know, alternative school. There we go. They try to get me sent to alternative school. And I know, you know, if any of my basketball members from middle school / that 1 year of high school see this, yes, this shit did happen. I didn't tell y'all all this. Just keep listening if you were from that time. Anyways,
they wanted to get you sent to alternative school. If you would have got sent to alternative school, that would have sucked. My goodness.
White niggas came into the school, tried to get me expelled or sent to the alternative school or something. Their dad even wanted to press charges on an 8th grader for slapping his son in the face. Now, this kid still had the red mark from last night.
Press charges? Now that's kind of extreme. Granted, you shouldn't have slapped him in the face, but it doesn't warrant you getting charged. I mean, kids aren't mature back then. I'm mature at that age, really. Just teenagers, really. Pubescence.
That was the funny part to me because when my advisor came in and told me that, I kind of had a chuckle because I was just like, bro, I didn't know I slapped him that hard. So this is what I was forced to do. I had 2 options. Either I
The
can
hell
take
was that
responsibility for
throw?
my actions and go to, I guess, alternative school or whatever, because it was outside of school hours, so I don't know what they really could have done, honestly. Like, I think they were just overreacting for the most part. Or, like my advisor told me, I could write a paper to the school apologizing and write an apology letter to the parents and the child. Now, of course, I didn't want to do either, but just for the sake of me not, I don't know, getting an assault charge as an 8th grader to another 8th grader, I had to do it. So I got that done. Bygones be bygones. I don't fucking know. It was so fucking stupid. And then,
I mean, hey, it's better than getting a charge and going to juvie, right? My son had to learn new vocabulary to write that letter.
then we have to get to my coach. My coach called me into his office. He was the teacher at the time. Or, well, I don't know if he still was a teacher. Rip Coach Patterson. But he's a teacher. And I remember going to his office. We started talking about the situation. And then he knew I was sorry. He knows my past situations getting into fights and stuff. And then he just simply said, okay, I'm not going to kick you off the team. I don't know why he didn't kick me off the team. But I'll take it. Believe me, I'll definitely take it. And then he told me he was going to give me a 2-game suspension. Oh boy, those 2 games rough, because I wasn't even allowed to practice. Like, I was literally kicked off the team for 2 weeks until those 2 games are up. And then one of them was a rivalry game against, like, the team across the road. So I was just like, bruh, this sucked. But that's the story of me slapping the kid in the 8th grade. But now we got to get to an even worse story that I already know I'm going to get some backlash on. But y'all know, I don't fucking care. I just like being entertaining. Y'all know me. And again, these stories.
I mean, you shouldn't care. Just tell the story if you want to tell it, man. They get offended, they get offended. Oh well.
Are 110% true. So this is the story for the people in my community that saw it. This is the story of when I crossed up a special kid. Now, like I said, I take basketball very seriously, and I'm not going to say that I don't just give people off easy, but let me just keep going. So, senior year, I have a class. It's called team sports. Basically, it's just a class period where people get the fuck around and play basketball, or when it gets to springtime, play football outside as a team. Just I don't fucking know. It was a fuck around period for me. I just played basketball all the time. So it got to a point where I don't know if this sounds politically correct, but the special kids came in.
Damn, bro, I thought you didn't give a fuck. What happened, man? Special kids. Say the slow kids, man. Simple. Very slow kids. Know what I mean?
And they took control of the main gym, being the gym that we actually played our games in. The pictures I'm showing you, this is the gym that we played in. So we were sent off to the practice gym where the JV and, well, no, that doesn't say the JV. Where the other teams practice, if it's not the varsity or JV downstairs. So, of course,
How'd you miss that layup?
If the goals ain't right, or the floors ain't right, or the basketballs ain't right, I'm going to start bitching. So I started bitching because I didn't want to play in that other gym. Of course, everybody else did because it's basketball, but then you had me being so fucking, I don't know, just specific about things that I didn't want to play on that gym. So I made the decision to play downstairs with the special kids, not with them, literally, just grab a good basketball, and start shooting around. Now, I still got real good with the special ed teacher, one of the special ed teachers, big old black dude. We started talking. He knew that I played ball at the school, so we started talking about that. And, like I said, he just let me play down there. And I started talking to the other special kids down there. They're good people. I'm not gonna shit talk them. Of course not. They're good people. Now, but this is where things get kind of fucky-wucky. So, oh my God. So, we get to this point of the year. This is during the end of the year, by the way. They start getting used to me or whatever. They consider me one of them. And one of them asked me to play him one-on-one. Now, again, I'm the type of person, if I can't tell you're better than me, or that you can, give me a good, if I can still beat you, but you'll give me a good run, then I won't play you one-on-one. And of course, being the person I'm about to go against, and I couldn't refuse, because the one time I did refuse, he went off and told the teacher, and he just told me just do it. So I'm just like, fine, I guess, because I would entertain them by shooting like really long shots, like NBA range threes or dunking right in front of them, or just stuff like that. So he was like, play me 1-on-1, da 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 da, and I'm just like, fine, I'll do that. So it was basic. I wasn't going to like cross the nigga up, unlike what I did later, or just try to show him off. Basically, I wasn't going to do nothing really stupid, but I was just, just doing my thing. Honestly, I was just doing some basic dribble moves. He couldn't keep up with me because, well, I'll save that detail for later. But he couldn't keep up with me, so I just drive right by him real slow. I wasn't like Russell Westbrooking my way to the rim and just dunking that shit. I was just giving him a good layup. He'd be like, cool, he'd get the ball, he'd just throw it up somewhere. I grab the ball, do the same thing over and over again. Now, give it about a month. He asked me the same question, and we're doing this like maybe every other class day basically. And he asked me the same question: do you want to play me 1-on-1? And I'm like, let's sure, blah blah blah, wasting time. It was during a long period, so either way, I still have like an hour to play ball still, or just shoot around with my earbuds, whatever. So, but this is where things get kind of confusing to me. So I start playing him, and this nigga, he was black, so I'm going to call him nigga. This nigga literally plays Patrick Beverly like defense on me. Like he is.
Oh, I know the type of defense you're talking about. The defense where they have their hands out wide, and they don't move their hands at all, and they decide to put their hands on you, and you can't drive anywhere. That's the type of defense you're talking about, right? I've played against people like that. It's very annoying. I just decided, you know what? Just push them off, move their hand away, drive to the cup. Make it simple for myself, you know what I mean? I wonder what you did.
He isn't giving me the space like he used to. He isn't like playing normal defense or whatever. He's literally all over my nuts. Now, if people know basketball, that's not one thing you're supposed to do, or at least it isn't courtesy, you know what I mean? Like going up so far into someone's grill like that just isn't right. So, of course, survival tactics kick in. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And, I didn't literally say that to him, but I just, in my mind, I'm like, what in the hell? Is this an actual game? So, of course, I just had to do a quick little step back to get him away from me, but no, he just gets even closer. So I'm like, okay, so he makes it harder for me. So now every time I drive in, he's putting, like so much contact onto me. Even for his size, just putting all that contact on me is an instant foul every time. Of course, I'm not going to start bitching about getting fouled by a special person, as bad as that sounds, but like, come on.
Yeah, you can't be bitching about that, bro. They're gonna go off. It's easy to trigger a slow person, bro. It's very easy.
Now, it's so much contact for no reason just doesn't make any sense. It's not basketball at that point. So
playing football.
So we keep playing, I have to get used to the fact that he's literally like white on rice on me, and I can't get away from him because he's actually pretty decently fast for what he is. Man, that sounds terrible. But he just keeps sticking onto me, and I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? So at one point, I end up winning the game. Probably like the next week, he does the same thing, except he adds in trying to swat the ball away from me. He's trying to literally steal the ball away from me. So now I'm like, okay, this is new. I gotta get used to this because, I'm not in the mindset of trying to, like, make space and drive and all that type of stuff on someone whom I know I can beat and at the same time is, kind of special. So I was just like, okay, I might have to actually play him in the game just to even get away from this fool because he's really trying to go after the ball. So this one legendary, not legendary day, he asked me to play again. He does the same thing, tries to go after the ball, goes on me like he's playing, like he's Patrick Beverly, yada, yada, yada. And I decided to give him a behind-the-back dribble. And not just any behind-the-back dribble. For the people that know me, or at least knew me in high school, I love to give you a good, like, Jamal Crawford, like, behind-the-back dribble move. And let's just say this kid didn't respond to it very well. So I just gave him between the legs, cut through. He goes after the ball, and I just rip it, like, super hard behind my back. And the kid just goes the other direction and falls. Now, the detail I wanted to leave out is one of his legs is like significantly, how can I say, shorter than the other. So of course his center of balance isn't really that good, which is why I wasn't trying to do the most because he would have fell in the first place. But because he kept trying to play me like it was an actual game, I guess instincts kind of came in and I made him fall. his face kind of smacked on the not the concrete, on the hardwood with his glasses, by the way. And then he starts crying. And of course,
Damn. That's a tough situation to deal with, bro. When a kid starts crying out of nowhere because you break their ankles, how you gonna deal with that? I've never dealt with that, and I'll never will. Hell no. Someone crying because you break their ankles? What?
of course, me being my fucked up self, I start to laugh just a little bit, and only because of like the memes that you see of people like falling really exaggerated, just like really hard, like over exaggeratedly just falling on the ground. And then it's one of those situations. So I think of that meme, just those memes in general, and just laugh a little bit. And then all of his friends come over there. He's like, "Yo, what's wrong?" He just starts crying uncontrollably. And then his like I said, the black dude, one of the teachers, came downstairs. He's like, he's seeing the whole thing happen. And he's like, "I didn't think he was gonna make him fall." And I'm like, he literally tried to go off the ball. Like, I'm just coming with all these excuses. And like, he fell on his own. And then he's like, and then he takes him to the nurse's office. He comes back. And then he says, "That's the last time I ever give anybody advice on how to defend somebody." And I'm looking at him like, "Are you serious? You told him to do that?" And he's like, "Yep." He said he was tired of losing, and he wanted some advice. So I told him what to do. So this nigga literally told him to try to lock me up. So I gave him all the advice he could. But then he forgot about the one fact that if I do anything different from what I was doing, he's gonna fall. And broke his glasses. So he comes back the next day. He doesn't even talk to me. This nigga doesn't even talk to me. And then, like, I'm just trying to see if everything's all good. So I simply ask him, "You want to play one-on-one?" And he starts crying again. So I'm like, okay. So this is where I stop.
You gave him nightmares, bro. The cross was so bad, he gave the man nightmares. Oh my goodness. I can't deal with that, man. Broke his ankle so bad, made his glasses break. Broke his foot. Now he gave him nightmares, man. He not gonna want to play basketball after that. What's wrong with you, son?
Going down there to play basketball. Now I go back to the practice gym and start playing with them. Because now I feel awkward. Now I feel awkward. Now I don't even want to play down there because it's going to remind me of that. So yeah, those are the two stories that I wanted to tell y'all today. I got so many more fucked up ones, but let's just start with that one as a test drive. Let's just see if y'all even like this series in general. Let's see if we can get this series rolling. These are some moderately decent stories. Believe me, I have more fucked up ones, but these are just something to start off with. So I hope y'all enjoyed. If you liked it, then like it. If you're new here, then sub. If you want more of this, comment what you want to see next. Like I said, I have plenty more stories. I'm not even gonna give you a hint about the stuff I have saved for next time if y'all want us to listen to it. But yeah.
Alright, y'all. That's gonna be the end of the video, man. Peace.